all in it together. The people who hurt your family finances swanning around in the House of Lords after giving tax cuts to the richest 1% that crashed our economy. Don't forget any of it.
When are we going to stop taking went to Eton as a qualification to run the country? I mean...
Donald Trump just publicly humiliated Keir Starmer on the world stage, rejecting his plea for tariff exemptions with a devastating critique of the UK's free speech laws. But the real twist, Ricky Gervais jumped into the fray with a brutal takedown that's left Starmer reeling. This isn't just about trade deals anymore. It's become a defining moment that exposes everything wrong with Starmer's leadership style. The Labour leader now faces the political equivalent of being caught in a crossfire between Trump's negotiation tactics and Gervais' unfiltered truth bombs. Stay tuned to see exactly what Gervais said that has the entire UK political establishment talking. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favour. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now, back to the video. What we're witnessing here isn't just diplomatic friction, it's a calculated public dismantling of Starmer's political image. Trump transformed what should have been a routine request for tariff exemptions into political theatre of the most embarrassing kind. The timing was impeccable, catching Starmer off guard just as he was attempting to establish himself on the international stage. Rather than handling this through normal diplomatic channels, Trump chose to broadcast his rejection to the world.
I'm anti-Trump. I would like to send my warmest congratulations to President Trump.
Whatever the apparent motivation, this is not protest, it is pure violence, and we will not tolerate attacks on mosques or our Muslim communities.
Effectively putting Starmer in the global spotlight for all the wrong reasons. The British PM's careful, measured approach to international relations crumbled instantly against Trump's blunt dismissal. That 10% tariff announcement wasn't just an economic decision. It was a power move that sent tremors through Westminster. But what makes this rejection particularly stinging is that Trump didn't frame it as merely economic. He pointed directly at UK free speech laws as the fundamental issue, suggesting that the rejection stems from something deeper than trade disputes. It's about trust, or rather, a profound lack of it. Trump's message was crystal clear. Leaders who don't stand for freedom of expression can't expect preferential treatment in other domains. This wasn't just a no to tariff exemptions, it was a vote of no confidence in Starmer's values and leadership approach. Then enters Ricky Gervais, transforming what was already a political embarrassment into a full-blown cultural moment. Gervais didn't simply pile on with generic criticism, he cut to the heart of Starmer's leadership style. Why are leaders so afraid to speak out when something is clearly wrong? Gervais questioned, directly attacking what many perceive as Starmer's moral posturing and reluctance to take definitive stands on controversial issues.
So I have to be nice, right? Yeah. But I actually think he's very nice. I think he ran a great race. He did very well.
Building to this for 4 years. We're confident we have a plan that can move our country forward, end the cost of living crisis.
The comedian's intervention resonated powerfully because it wasn't couched in political jargon or partisan talking points. It spoke directly to the frustrations of ordinary voters who've grown weary of Starmer's perceived detachment from their everyday concerns. When Gervais added his emotional weight to the criticism, he transformed Trump's political attack into something that ordinary people could feel in their gut. Together, these two very different figures created the perfect storm. Trump's rejection exposed Starmer's weakness on the world stage, while Gervais' commentary revealed his disconnect at home. The combination stripped away the carefully constructed image of competence and authenticity that Starmer has worked so hard to build. The carefully constructed facade has crumbled, revealing damage far deeper than wounded pride. Beneath Starmer's public humiliation lies a fundamental question, splitting his own party and alienating voters.
Congratulations to President Trump on his inauguration as the 47th President of the United States. Wanton violence alongside racist rhetoric. So no,
I won't shy away from calling it what it is. Far-right thuggery.
Can a leader who appears afraid to speak plainly about difficult issues ever truly represent a nation currently drowning in them? Starmer's leadership style, a calculated calm that once seemed refreshing amid political chaos, has transformed into his greatest liability. While voters grapple with skyrocketing energy bills and empty cupboards, his measured, lawyerly approach feels increasingly disconnected from their raw pain. People don't just want solutions, they want a leader who visibly shares their frustration. Instead, they see someone who seems more concerned with maintaining composure than acknowledging their suffering. This emotional void has created fertile ground for the Labour Party's internal fracturing. Behind closed doors, fierce debates rage about how to handle this latest crisis. One faction demands Starmer show some fire, directly confronting Trump and demonstrating the strength voters crave. The opposing camp advocates maintaining his presidential demeanour, arguing that displaying anger would only validate the criticisms
Of specialist officers, public duty officers, so that we'll have enough officers to deal with this where we need them.
Donald came out and went, oh, me, nasty train crash, right?
This division reflects a deeper identity crisis within Labour itself, caught between its working-class roots and its metropolitan professional leadership. Social media tells the story of a public increasingly losing patience. Comment sections overflow with variations of the same sentiment. Why won't he just say what he actually thinks for once? Polling data shows a worrying trend. People respect Starmer's intelligence but question his heart. In a political era where authenticity trumps policy details, this perception threatens to become an insurmountable barrier between Starmer and the very voters he needs to connect with. Gervais' intervention proved particularly devastating because it wasn't just about politics, it was about character. By questioning why leaders like Starmer seem afraid to speak out on important issues, Gervais tapped into a growing suspicion that the Prime Minister lacks the courage of his convictions. The fact that a comedian could so effectively articulate what millions were already thinking transformed a political critique into a cultural moment that transcended party lines.
It is organised, violent thuggery, and it has no place on our streets or online.
I think I've been naive all my life. It's not till now I just go, why do we trust them? Of course we shouldn't trust the people in charge. That's how they're in charge. They shouldn't be trusted.
Economic consequences loom large as well. If international leaders perceive Starmer as easily dismissed, Britain's leverage in crucial trade negotiations diminishes. The stakes extend far beyond political embarrassment. This is about whether Starmer possesses the backbone to defend British interests on the world stage. So here we are at the defining moment for Keir Starmer's premiership. This isn't merely another political hiccup, it's the crucible that will determine whether he possesses the backbone required to lead Britain through these challenging times. The British public isn't just watching a political drama unfold.
Of course, I wouldn't want Donald Trump round for dinner, but don't underestimate the danger to the world if Trump is re-elected this time around. Coordinated, we went through some of the numbers. Over 400 people now have been arrested, 100 have been charged, some in relation to online activity.
They're searching for a leader who genuinely understands their struggles with the cost of living crisis. Someone who can connect with their hardships on a human level. The fundamental question remains, can Starmer summon the courage, passion, and integrity needed to rise from these ashes? Or will this moment permanently define him as a leader who simply couldn't demonstrate the strength required when facing real adversity?